morning, my name is Fatia and welcome to our Digital Transformation for Tomorrow series. STACS is establishing a series of interviews with the top leader of the industry. And today we are joined by Chia Hock Lai. He has experiences in the financial and technology industry and has worked in the organization like the Government Technology Agency of Singapore and NTUC Income. Besides, he's also the founding president of the Singapore FinTech Association, SFA. Mr. Hock Lai is a fellow of the Singapore University of the Social Science, member of the Banking and Finance and Funding Industry panel of Nanyang Polytechnic and advisor to startups. Today, he will share his expertise and opinion on our topic, digital transformation in the new normal, blockchain development in the industry. Good morning, and thank you for accepting this invitation to our STACS series. How are you today?
Good. It's a good day today.
I'm going to ask you some free questions, and feel free to share your opinion and your knowledge with us. What are the barriers that usually block the path of transformation?
Yeah, usually I'll quote the 4 C's barrier. First is CEO, because without the support from the CEO or the C-suite, right, digital transformation can't move forward. The second C is cash. You need to invest in digital transformation, whether is it in terms of technology or is it in terms of talent. Yeah, so without cash, you can't do digital transformation. The third thing is what I call culture, C for culture. And in fact, sometimes you will hear of the term that culture will eat strategy lunch every time. Yeah, so without the right culture and mindset of the people working in the company, it will be difficult to undergo successful transformation. And the last C is what I call catalyst. So even if you have the above 3 C's like the CEO support, you have the cash to invest in tech and talent, you have the right culture, you need a catalyst, basically, for example, like a successful project to show the rest of the organization that the organization can transform successfully. Because you must understand that with digital transformation, processes will change, people's role might change. So there will be a lot of anxiety. So you need a project to show people that they can be successful. For example, like DBS Bank, how they do the catalyst is by doing a pure digital bank called DigiBank in India. That is a pure no branch digital bank, and then it was successful, and that in a way helped DBS to become the world's best digital bank. But recently, we have a new C. It's called COVID-19. Yeah. Yes, and that helps a lot in terms of convincing the rest, because it's no longer a choice. Organizations must transform digitally. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so most of the companies now need to follow the changing environment that we are actually living. And in your point of view, what will be the new normal in the financial industry?
I think what used to take 5 years, for example, encouraging digital payments, right, is now compressed in the last 3 months. So definitely we are seeing an accelerated adoption of digital finance by consumers across all age groups. So no longer limited to the millennials, and also businesses of all sizes. For example, in Singapore, even we have hawkers, 1 or 2 men show going digital. And then there are a lot of examples to show that there's a lot of adoption. For example, DBS in DBS Bank in May, they shared that they are achieving 1 million fully digital customers 1 year earlier. And then 30% of their 100,000 digital customers are above 50 years old. OCBC shared that pay now transactions increased by 3 times, basically digital payments.
Mm.
UOB Bank shared that their mobile banking app usage increased by 44% over the same period last year. GrabPay also announced a 2 times increase in Grab delivery payments. Similarly, for Singtel Dash, which is in the remittance business, with their Singtel Dash app, they shared that they have a 2 times increase in their remittance customer base. So this accelerated adoption by consumers and businesses will force a lot of financial institutions to double down on their digitalization effort.
Mm-hmm. And with various forms of technologies advancement, how do you think blockchain can help industry in this new normal that you described earlier?
Yeah, I think before I answer that question, probably it's good to clarify some misconceptions about blockchain. Right?
Yes.
First of all, blockchain is not just cryptocurrency. While cryptocurrency is the most successful use case, we hear, for example, Bitcoin went beyond what $11,000 yesterday. Yeah, but blockchain is more than just cryptocurrency. The second thing is that the second misconception is that blockchain is a solution for every problem. Unfortunately, blockchain is only suitable for certain problems. The third thing is blockchain is a solution looking for a problem. Actually, blockchain can be a good solution for certain problems. And the other misconception is that while we talk about smart contract being able to automate a lot of things, right? Smart contract is neither smart nor is it a legal contract, because how smart it is depends on who writes the logic. Okay. Last but not least, blockchain is slow and energy hungry. That is very true for public blockchains like Bitcoin that uses the proof of work consensus algorithm, but it's by design because it is permissionless. So everyone can join from anywhere to participate in the public blockchain like Bitcoin. So it's designed to be slow with the proof of work consensus so that it will be very secure. And then the other thing is that when we look at how to apply blockchain, we can rely on a few rules of thumbs. First of all, there are a lot of parties involved in coordinating. For example, like the supply chain and trade finance, there are multiple parties involved, whether is it importer, exporter, whether is it the customs, the banks, the logistics. So many parties are involved. So we frequently see a lot of supply chain and trade finance use cases, and there are quite a number of blockchain consortiums on that. Next is that we also have to look at, is the middleman costly, or the middleman is not efficient, or there's no trusted middleman. So one example is the traditional cross-border banking system that is used for cross-border fund transfer. Because of multiple middlemen involved, it takes a long time for the fund transfer to happen. And because everyone wants to collect a fee, it's also very costly. The last rule of thumb is the history of ownership important? So is the provenance important? So for this case, right, for example, for food supply chain, because for food supply chain, because food relates to something that we have to take into our body, so it can cause health issues. So the provenance is important. So if there is any outbreak of illness, right, we can easily trace it. So if that use case, the history of ownership is very important, then blockchain is suitable. The other thing to think about is also that very often blockchain is not the full solution. Very often it is to be supplemented by the traditional systems. For example, SAP, which is enterprise resource planning system, they are using blockchain also to supplement their overall solution. For example, they are using it for drug tracing to eliminate counterfeit drugs. And I think STACS, in a way, is in this space because you are helping you are helping traditional financial institutions that are not digital first, that has a lot of legacy systems. So the STACS blockchain solution helps traditional FIs to easily adopt blockchain to automate their processes. And there are many, many use cases other than those that I have explained above. For example, central bank digital currency. Now we see that more than 80% of central banks are working on one. Some countries are already piloting it. For example, China, they have their digital currency electronic payment. They are piloting it in some major cities. We have cross-border payments and settlement. Like I mentioned earlier, cross-border banking is not that efficient. Trade finance and supply chain traceability, especially food tracing. So a very famous case study is the Food Trust platform by IBM. And then we have use cases in healthcare. For example, MetLife, they created a health insurance product that automates the payment once you are diagnosed and be eligible to claim the product. And we also see many, many use cases in capital markets, like for bonds. Recently, we saw that the Philippine Treasury Department actually allowed Filipinos to buy bonds, retail bonds from their mobile phone. And this retail bonds resides in the blockchain. Locally in Singapore, we have a startup called Bond eValue. They actually tokenize corporate bonds so that people can buy fractional units of corporate bonds, which otherwise would not be accessible to them, because typically a corporate bond could cost $250,000. And also in terms of, in the space of private equities, for example, we have another company called STACS. They are also tokenizing private equities on blockchain. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing these examples in the market, in the several industry regarding the blockchain. And in your point of view, did the actual pandemic accelerate the transition into digitalization?
Yes, definitely. I shared earlier what used to take 5 years is compressed into 3 years. And then the prolonged social distancing. And we are not expecting to have a vaccine that is available in mass quantity for at least a year. So all these prolonged this social distancing will shape the behavior more towards all things digital, including finance. And earlier on, I was shared that many of the financial institutions, many of the fintechs, the big techs, they experience really significant growth of consumers, their consumers or their customers using the digital channel. So I think it's no longer a choice for digitalization, it's a must. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chia Hock Lai, for sharing your expertise and your point of view through all these questions. It was thank you so much. It was really a pleasure to have you in our STACS series. And I wish you a very nice day, and thank you so much.
Thanks.